just need to go look at the pictures of the Hidalgo County Bar in the mid-50s, late 50s at the courthouse, and you'll see the impact that Rafael had by looking at the people that are in those photographs. Rafael is a pioneer. I mean, you realize that he's been licensed since 1951. He's a pioneer that opened up a lot of doors for many of us. He is just a tremendous lawyer, still is a tremendous lawyer in my mind. And he literally opened up the doors. I don't think a lot of people know that or appreciate that, especially the young lawyers, because he did it in the 50s and the 60s, and the 70s, and the 80s, and the 90s, until he had his stroke. And so I respect that a lot, and I think he contributed to the Hidalgo County Bar, not only Hidalgo County, but the whole state of Texas. He's a pioneer. He really is a legend that we all should look up to.
His history and involvement in the community has been extraordinary over the years. The type of cases, the type of individuals that he represented, and just the whole manner of his practice, I think it leaves a great model of what we should all try to strive to be like.
One thing that stands out, Ralph is really the true gentleman lawyer. I consider Ralph to be the father of torts in our valley. He started practicing law at a time when it was tough to do so, practicing torts law. Back then, during the 60s and early 70s, or through the 70s, we had a 1% crediting and total bar to recovery. The value of the loss of life was measured by the loss of pecuniary contributions. It was tough to make a go out of it in the area of tort law, but Ralph was a tireless advocate. That's the one thing that always stood out. He just kept on pushing and pushing and pushing until he got what he believed was a fair consideration to his clients, and a fair amount of settlement, and what he believed at the time would be the true value of a case.
There's so many memorable things that I have found over the years of working with and being friends with Rafael Flores. Too many to mention, really, but one thing in particular that really stands out is early on in my career, he received by referral a certain type of case, and from that referral he received other referrals from that first client. And at the time that the case is settled, of course the question became about how to disperse the funds and the referral fee to the lawyer and that kind of thing. And instead of paying the referral fee to the lawyer for the one case that the lawyer sent, he actually paid that lawyer a referral fee on all of the cases because he explained to me that if it were not for that first client, irrespective of what the lawyer did, if it was not for that first client, he would never have represented the other clients. And he was such a principled man on things like that, that he just felt like it was the right thing to do to pay a referral fee on other people, other clients, whom the referring lawyer didn't actually even know. So,
if you wanted something done at the time Rafael was able to do it, he was your man for the job. I was the incoming president at the time he was the outgoing president. I always knew if I asked Rafael to do anything, it would get done, and it would get done to perfection. For instance, when he was the president-elect of our bar, we used to have night meetings, and they were starting to kind of die off. We weren't getting much attendance. And Rafael got elected as the president-elect, which meant he was in charge of programming. So who did we get down here as speakers? Richard Racehorse Haynes, Pat Maloney. He started people getting interested in attending the bar meetings again. And he is a fantastic person.
Ralph was the kind of person that he didn't mind fighting the good fight and being very aggressive in the courtroom as well as very successful. But if you ever had a personal issue, he was there for you, even though you may have been his opponent. And that's what I most admire about him. And in my life, I've always made sure that I emulate him in that regard.
He's led the way again in trial law. He's always been of the highest ethics, always treated his opponents with respect, and at the same time being involved in adversarial proceedings, and certainly being an advocate for his client. I think that's something that all young lawyers should look at and have the greatest respect for the greatest. He's an ideal lawyer. He has always had the interests of his clients at the top of his game, and has always represented them with zeal, with distinction, with responsibility, with honor. And he's someone that everyone looks up to here in Hidalgo County. I'm not speaking simply for myself. I am a senior member of the bar here, of the judiciary, and I can speak for the entire judiciary that Rafael is just adored by everybody here in the legal community.
I always loved to go to the courtroom when I knew that Rafael would be litigating, because you could learn so much from him. He probably knew the rules about as well as any litigating lawyer in this county. Maybe John Lewis, but those two were 180 degrees apart, because John was the rough and ready Texas range war, and Rafael was really the European statesman.
I'd like to congratulate you for you being the honoree this year. I think you should have been an honoree a long time ago, but I have no say-so and things like that. And I think you should be the honoree for the future, because you are a pillar of the Hidalgo County Bar.
Me gusta cantarle al viento.